is another terrible day here in Africa, and I am out for a third day in a row. Aren't you all very lucky, or not, having this face on your screen for the next half an hour? But yeah, it's been very good. I've got a run of days without guests. I come back on the weekend, so I thought, while I have the opportunity, why not head out there and do some sofa safaris? Yesterday, despite looking for them all morning and not having joy, those cheetahs did pitch up again on the open areas in our eastern section, and they were looking a little more fat-bellied, rounded-bellied than they had been the day before. So I suspect they're hunted. As we say, it seems to be their trend. Go sleep on these open sodic sites in the evening and then get up early in the morning. So we left them resting, and we are going to go and see if we can find them. We are on a desperate mission for leopard too, so if we can find any sign of leopard, the guys will be following up. You know, the River Pride came to join the cut-nose male from the Narus, and there was a potential mating pair all in this area, so there are the makings of a good drive. Had a little bit of drizzle last night that's wet the grass. I suspect these cats will be sticking out in the open, but let us go and see what is waiting for us today. So come along for the ride, and trust that you will enjoy another episode of Tanda Tula's Sofa Safari. Amazing how quickly the glow of this sun can disappear in the clouds. But it's a cloudy day. We've got rain forecast for tomorrow. Good chance of some decent rain, but today we should stay dry. Thought I would just begin by coming and checking on Giraffe plains to see what's happening here, and I'll show you what's happening here. We have out two Nara males, cut-nosed boy in the front, and then the one that was with the female in the last episode, he's lying at the back. No immediate sign of her. I remember from last year summertime that these lions' behavior is very similar to this. Didn't like the grass. They always chose to just go sleep out in the open, in the drier, sandier patches. And this persisted through the rainy season and into the start of the dry season and lockdown. That's why we were able to bring you so many lions during our first couple of, probably about a dozen or two episodes of Sofa Safari. We just never struggled for lions. So I remember we had to try and avoid them, but they made it easy because they walked on the roads and they went to sleep next to the road or out in these open areas where they were much more visible. And it seems as though now that the rains have come, the grass is getting longer, especially, as I said, after a little bit of rain last night, grass is a bit wet. They don't like the moisture, the water, so they rather come and sit out on these open areas. But they are not looking as if they're going to get up too much just yet. Still a lot of cloud cover, so it's nice and cool. So we're going to actually leave them for now, and we're going to go carry on looking for the cheetah. We'll come back to these boys a little later. As we leave, those are the two males, and the rain starts falling. There's the third Naru. I think we will have to go back to the plains and wait for that reunion. You can see he's definitely walking a lot better than he has been in the past. Looking in great condition. One brother's seen him, the other hasn't. So our male has flopped down over there. A disappointing reunion. I was honestly expecting a lot more from them. You know, I don't know when they were last together, but as social cats, they kind of like meeting up. Even if it's after a hunt, you watch lionesses who've been on a hunt and they miss and they come up and they rub each other's heads and they purr, and it's a joyous reunion. He kind of saw his brothers and thought, you guys again. and flopped down. One brother looked at him, didn't react. The other, he's just trying to hide under the only little bush there to get out of this rain. It sounds like it's coming down a little heavier in the west, so we shall see how long this morning drive lasts. So I don't have to get wet. I'm not going to. So it looks like these boys are quite content lying, sleeping in the rain. They're not even moving to get out of it. And it's not enough rain to make them want to shake their manes free of water, which is a photo I always want to try and get. But, yeah, it looks like they settled here for the morning. So we're going to carry on. As I say, that Limpy's got up. He has decided that a shady trees. I'm going to give him a bit more shelter than lying out in the open. Wise man. But yeah, we'll leave them be. There's audio for wild dogs in the area. And tracks for leopard. And haven't even begun to look for the cheetah yet, so let's go. It is all happening out in the west. Our cheetahs have moved all the way to the western side of our concession. And a pack of wild dogs that was calling has been found in the west. So we are heading west, strangely. It's still drizzling here, but let's see how it goes. Beautiful big collection of giraffes here. Hi, girls. So, running through the bushes here are our doggies. So, our same pack from the other day, the 13, and pretty much going into exactly the same spot as they were the other day. Literally the same track we used to see them the other day. Creatures of habit much. They're maybe going to go settle down by the weird. Can't see blood on them. I'm not sure if they have hunted. Sugar and cream. Yeah, so they're walking around sniffing. I'm sure they realise the smells they smell are theirs. Like all dogs, have incredible sense of smell, much better than the cats. But yeah, proving creatures of habit, which is nice. They're sniffing frantically. I almost thought I counted more than 13 dogs for a moment, but I think what it was some ran off to chase a hyena and then came back. But they're very busily seeing what's going on here. Following behind, waiting for doggies to kill. And of course the morning I didn't say this is great wild dog weather. It is great wild dog weather. The wild dog show up, but yet again that uncanny coincidence of seeing wild dogs when we have gloomy skies. Didn't mean to talk like that. And the reason that they like this, or appear on this cooler weather, is that they can just run and run and run and not get tired. And that allows them the opportunity of traveling much further than they otherwise would. If it got hot, they'd possibly be having to rest more, but in weather like this, you can see they're not even panting. But yeah, good for us. They haven't hunted yet, so maybe they'll be keen to do something this morning. Chasing some spur fowl there. Ah, Franklin, sorry. These guys, I love this relationship. I think I say it every time you see dogs and hyenas together, but it's just so interesting the way that they kind of tolerate and accept one another. And the dogs, I mean, this morning they've playfully gone for these hyenas. If there's food, if there's pups, it's a different story, as we saw a couple of episodes ago. But yeah, sorry, just with the cheetah and the dogs so close together, the radio is a bit busy. Okay, so they headed through an impenetrable thicket. Very lucky impalas there, they've avoided them. Hyenas did pick up pace, so I don't know if maybe something happened, but let us, sorry, just in case there's wind, let us go around to the next road, but pretty thick beyond here. Not made for chasing dogs and Land Cruisers, that's for sure. Come out this thicket. Dogs there. Hyenas are still here. And still, they're just trailing. The dogs haven't found anything to chase yet, but it'll happen. Yeah, this is thick bush, and these dogs have carried on moving. A good chance we're going to lose them, so I'm just going to let one or two of the other guys come in and see them. If they said we'll move into a better area later, we might come back. They also lost the cheetahs going through a thick area, so my hope of being able to tick off all of the big predators in one drive probably not going to come to fruition now. That, and they need a miracle of finding a leopard. But I'm just trying to find my way out of here. She's very thick. You can hear elephants trumpeting, probably at either dogs or hyenas. I can actually hear these elephant sounds like two young bulls fighting. I can now see them. Let's see what they're up to. And here they are. It actually seems as though there's a few bulls who are doing a bit of gas escapes when you're trying to be manly and have a fight. And still it continues to drizzle. They are not in the least bit phased by this. Welcome relief, as we always say, when you're such a big animal. They're so used to having to struggle to keep cool, so when you have a nice mild day like this, you don't even have to go to water to get yourself wet. You don't have to go to mud wallow. You can wet yourself and then pick up some sand with your feet and throw it on to create your own mud. Stunning. Something that has been lacking this year, if I have to be picky about our elephants, and it's difficult too because they are amazing, is the lack of little babies. That's maybe not a terrible thing, maybe for our viewing, but for elephant population, if they can have fewer babies and slow down their growth rate, just like us humans need to do, it will probably be better for the environment surrounding us. However, very little beats the cutesy little baby elephant. Just so those lines roar, we're not terribly far from Giraffe Plains, so we might actually just pop back in there, see what they're up to. Maybe with this rain being heavy, we might get that lovely head shake. I just get envious of animals that have lots of hair, because I don't. Look at how pronounced her forehead is. It's very easy to identify female. A proper 90-degree bend or angle. Far more pronounced than most. And a young male with a rounder head. Who's popped in there? He's probably the one causing excitement in this herd. But even though he's a young boy, he's already bigger than them and can assert a stamp of authority and dominance over the cows. One of the reasons they don't like having them here. Feeding on a knobbly creeping bush willow there. Back to fighting. So I've opted to rather come check for cheetah. These cheetahs did hit up Coles Plain earlier, but they crossed over the river into a very cheetah unfriendly spot, as is much of this area. I mean, these patches of more open woodland are fine, but between them there's some very dense areas. So they crossed over the river, heading west. Let's see if there's any sign. And I can only imagine those two boys coming through here finding a lot of comfort standing on those logs. I just want to cry. I'm sure they would have been on there. Magnificent group of kudu bulls. Talking about the boys in the last episode only being maybe 4 or 5 years old. These boys are not much older, but probably towards their 7-8 year mark. So I've been looking for these cheetah now for a little while, not finding them. It's not ideal area to spot them, very thick, so I can't imagine that they would have settled. I'm sure they probably kept moving further west, maybe even crossed out of the Timbervati into the Klisseri, which may put pay to my discussion and thoughts of them being our territorial resident males. But that being said, resident is not a loose word. The average density of cheetahs in the Kruger is probably about 1 per 11,000-12,000 hectares, so very low density. Males like this will probably have an area of 15 to 20,000 hectares. That would be their territory, increase their chance of having females that wander through. Although they have been very good sticking out in our eastern part of our concession, that's only a few thousand hectares. So it would be normal to expect them to move, especially with the lions having been quite active and so vocal. But in a way it's also positive, because it means that we won't only see cheetah out in our east. If they're moving over all this area, they may be well distributed throughout this part of the Timbervati, which is good for them, good for us, and we will keep looking for them, but it might now be a few days until we catch up with them again. So I'm slowly going to start making my way back to the camp, get away from these flies, get warmer and drier, and I'll head out again this afternoon. Go away, to see what else is out there. We used to have these animals called leopards here. I would give quite a lot at the moment to see one of those, as with civilized, but fingers crossed, maybe this afternoon. And if that counts as my leopard sighting for the day, just a leopard tortoise sprinting off there. Little sounder of warthogs. Maybe even had a bit of a sleep in and with the conditions as they were today. But time also almost for them to have their babies. One from summer last year, and one on the left, but I'm sure there will be some piglets. Not in that one on the right now because that's a boy, but mom would be on the far right. Her belly does look a little rounded too. A little surprise before we get back to camp. Good to have these eddies back. They've been a little absent the last couple of days, but yeah, seen a few, heard of another few groups being called in. It looks like they're back. If Monique had been here for that, I might be single. How cool. It's the young bull. We've been parked here. He's decided to come up and have an investigation, and he must have been looming over my head no more than a meter and a bit away. What a good way to end off a great drive. But yeah, we'll be back. So we know Ellies are big animals and we know that they poop a lot, but my goodness, look at this. This is like that scene from Jurassic Park when they're digging in the Triceratops poop to see what it ate while it's sick. But this is enormous, look at it. Ridiculously large. I mean, you guys can't get a scale here. But just trying to get a scale of how big this pile of poo is. It's mightily impressive and full of flies and dung beetles already. If that had been around when I was doing my training for Kilimanjaro, at least I could have done some hill practice up and down that pile of poo. It's that big. It's a hyperbole. So the benefit of having extra guides and trackers out with guests has shown us worth yet again. I was a kilometre from camp when I got a radio call, and not too far off there was something waiting for us, so let's head on over and see if it's still waiting when we get there. I've got to where I am here, and that is what is waiting for us. I believe it's called the Leopard. Our beautiful Nialete, who's wandering around, I'd say out of her usual range, but then there's nothing usual anymore about our leopard's territories. So yeah, it feels like lockdown days when we just couldn't find these spotted cats and got so excited when we did. But I had her tracks this morning, much further north, So she's on a mission. Even now she's just walking around scent mark, up and down these termite mounds. It's not part of her usual territory. She maybe just picks up on the scent of Neoleti here. Come on, girl, go up there. Probably just going to scent mark. Sniff, see what's going on, and carry on. It would actually be difficult to find a worse area to follow a leopard through. Up on the crest here, a lot of ivy grapes the elephants have dug for, a lot of bush willows they've uprooted, and just generally all round dense area. She's in here. Oh, well, that's a great tree to go up. She's moving from prominent tree to scent mark, because that's, if she was a leopard looking to see where others had scent marked, those are the trees she would go to. So they know which ones leopards like, and as a result they will go just from tree to tree, spraying, smelling, who else has been here. So she might be on the scent trail of a male. That's the only thing I can think may be drawing her here, because it's out of her traditional range. But as I said, there's nothing traditional about their ranges anymore. Ah, stunning. Ah, a road. But not the direction I would have thought she would have gone. Moving deeper out of her territory. There's some beautiful marula trees up ahead there. Let's hope she decides to just go rest in one of those. Give us a bit of a break from this. So of course she climbed the tree that I decided to photograph at instead of film at. And they were terrible photos as well. But yes, up there scenting, sniffing. She's on a mission, grooming now too. There were better trees she could have gone up, but as I always say, there's one thing about leopards, that their definition of a good tree and my definition of a good tree are different. Doesn't look the most comfortable, but nice and concealed in the upper canopy of this marula. Let's see what Siv has. He's bringing his guests out. A unmistakable face on this girl. That face may be mistakable, but those eyes, not so. That her right eye, as we're looking at her on her left side, drooped down in the corner from an old injury, but a beautiful cat. Oof, these flies are biting my leg. So if it's shaky, I apologize. not a particularly long rest up that tree. She's definitely on a mission this morning. Hunting does not seem to be her purpose. However, if she's walking and comes across anything worth hunting, she will. But there's a scent trail that she's on, be it another female that she's trying to look for to chase away, or a male that she's looking to court or appease, who knows. She's got her 10-month-old son, 11-month-old son, so she shouldn't be ready to mate. And even if he has died in the last week, fingers crossed he hasn't, but even if he has, his loss is not going to bring her back into estrus straight away. But he's fine, he's just hidden somewhere else. And little grunts coming from it. It's not a roar, it's not a growl. I don't know if there's some dung or something there that she's picked up on that she's rolling to get her scent over. Or I should say get the scent on her, but this seems more of a this is mine kind of vibe. So after days of not having leopard luck, we got a wonderful sighting. Civilized had to pull his guests from the breakfast table to come out and have a look because it was pretty late. I was about to close down when that radio call from Elmira came through, so thank you, Elmira. And yeah, we got to spend some good time, very active, perfect weather for leopards to be out and about doing things like that. But I think that about brings it to a close. I don't even know if there's a point for me going out this afternoon. Commented earlier how it would have been wonderful to have got all 5 of the big predators in one drive. Hey, getting 4 of them is not bad, and we were not far from the cheetahs, so you'll just, if you're missing cheetahs, go watch the last couple of episodes. They've been around. Getting spoiled, absolutely spoiled. So hope you have enjoyed this predator-rich game drive. And yeah, we will catch you again, I'm sure, in the not too distant future here on Tanda Tula Safari on YouTube. So keep well, stay safe, and until next time, everyone, take care. Cheerio.
The limpy one.
There's the one that we saw with the female yesterday.
Oh, right, I see the mark on the nose now. Is it the limpy one that they push out? He wants to come closer.
No, listen. And he'll just turn off.